Hi everyone and welcome back. Today I'm going to be filming using products I might declutter. So the stakes are high, and after giving these products a last chance to see how they perform and wear throughout the day, I'm then going to decide if I'm going to be keeping the product or decluttering the product. So before we get into it, I'd love for you to subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get started. So for my primer, I'm going to be using my Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Universal Blurring Balm Powder. So I really liked using this last summer, but that was the last time I used this, last summer. So I'm going to give it another shot. I used to like to use this under my makeup to prevent like oil from coming through. So we'll see how it affects my makeup today. I feel like I have found so many beautiful primers that work so well this year, like these ones here. So the Smashbox Photo Finish Control Mattifying Primer, really good option for oily skin. The Wet n Wild Impossible Primer does it all. The e.l.f. Power Grip primers are incredible. These are my #1s for sure. And this is a really close #2, the Iconic London Underglow Primer. Love all of these over this one for sure. And this product also comes in tinted versions as well, like a tinted foundation. But I didn't like that product. I found it to sit on top of my skin and it just overall made my skin look really dull. But this one did a good job at controlling sebum. Damn, I really made these two spots a problem for me, didn't I? I picked my skin a little before filming. For my foundation, I'm going to be using my Kosas Revealer Skin Improving Foundation in the shade Light plus Neutral Warm 170. So I picked this one out because I found that this one can separate on me, or it can look really grainy and texture enhancing. And I remember the texture being a little thick for my liking. So we'll see how it does today. And I never ever reach for it. So I'm just going to take a little bit. I'm going to dot some on. And I'm using my BK Beauty 101 brush to blend this out. That's like a perfect match. It's quite satisfying to watch that blend in. So here is the foundation blended out. I think it looks nice. The shade match is really good. I just find that it makes my skin look a little bit dull, but that's okay. It's just foundation. We're gonna add some more dimension soon. So it's sitting nice right now, but we'll see how it progresses throughout the day. I will say it's not my favorite finish. I feel like it kind of gathers on some of my textural areas. Did I get bit by a vampire? Did Edward visit me throughout the night? Hold on a second. Anyways, like it's nice, but it's not astounding. So now moving on to concealer, I'm going to be using my Kosas Revealer Concealer in the shade 03W. I have not used this in a long time. I just find that these just get too stinky too quickly, and I haven't been wanting to promote it that much on my channel, you know? And I feel like there are better concealers, but at the time of its launch, I had never tried a concealer like this. One that felt just like an eye cream, that brightened and concealed just like a concealer would, like you want. But I find nowadays there are so many lightweight concealers that do a better job. I find that this one does crease quite a bit. Some other alternatives that I like more than this are the LYS Triple Fix Concealer and the NYX Bare With Me Serum Concealer. Those ones are very similar feel, but just better longevity, and they don't smell like blue cheese. And I also find that the Kosas undertones for their foundations and concealers are a little bit weird. They can tend to look really yellow or kind of green or gray. I just feel like their undertones are a little not the best. Like, it's good to have those tones in a range, but not every single color, you know? My eyes are so irritated today. The smoke is back. It rolled back in a few days ago, so my breathing's weird. My eyesight is sensitive, so I might not do something crazy on my eyes today, but we'll see. So now for my powder, I picked this one. I never ever reach for this. This is the Saie Airset Radiant Loose Setting Powder in the shade Translucent. I overlook this every day. It's almost like invisible to me when I look through my powder section. So I'm going to take some with my powder puff. I'm just going to apply this like I have been with all my powders. The thing I don't like about this powder is that it has a lot of shimmer, so it looks really glittery when you're in direct sunlight, and that's not my favorite. I will say like the base powder is kind of nice. It does blur It feels quite airy and nice, but that shimmer in there is just a little unnecessary. I'll try to take some footage of it on my hand here so you can see what I mean. I just did a thick swatch right in the center here. Hopefully my camera can pick up the super shiny pearl. I feel like this is one of the products I know I'm going to be letting go of today, just because it kind of just does a mid job compared to all my other favorite powders I have. And if you're curious to know any of my favorites, I have a page in the description with all of my favorites in every category. So you can check that out if you want to see every one of my faves. Now let's get into bronzer, and I'm going to be using my e.l.f. Putty bronzers. I prefer the luminous one way more over this one. I find that this one can be a little bit patchy, but we'll see. Let's try it out today. I'm going to be using the shade Tan Lines as well as the shade Feeling Shady, just to add some kind of contoury details too. I'm starting off with Tan Lines, and I'm going to be using my favorite bronzing brush at the moment for cream, and that is my Rose Inc No. 3 brush. This product has a different kind of texture. It feels very, very balmy to the touch. It almost melts as you're feeling it with the warmth of your fingertip. But then once you kind of let it set, I guess, it kind of feels very silky and powdery, which I feel like it kind of halfway sets when you're blending it out on your face, and then it can tend to gather up in some parts. But the way I'm applying it right now is actually looking really good. Oh, and I liked how I bronzed up here the last time. I'm gonna do that again. I just feel like my skin looks a little dull, right? Like I feel like I look sunken or something. What's happening? Now I'm going to add some more definition. I just mixed depth and definition in one word, but a little bit more right in the cheekbone. I feel like I painted a way worse image of this in my head than its reality. I feel like it doesn't look that bad today. It may have saved itself from being decluttered today, but we'll see. I just feel like it looks nice. It's just not the best, you know? Now it's time to highlight, and you know how tough of a critic I am when it comes to highlights. And today I'm going to be retrying the Hollywood Glow Glide Face Architect Highlighter in the shade Pillow Talk Glow from Charlotte Tilbury. So these are, it's just okay. I remember not being completely in love with this formula right off the bat. I found it could lay a little thick on the cheekbone. I'm going to apply it with my favorite brush here, my Moda Pro Glow, and I'm going to do little dainty swirls to really get it to polish on top of my cheekbone here. Just really working it in and trying to melt it into those creamier products. You know, I just find that this formula doesn't feel like anything special. It feels like a lot of more affordable or cheaper quality highlights. I don't know, it just has like that eyeshadow feel. It has that thicker, satiny texture. This texture just really takes me back to the days where I would use eyeshadows as highlights when my collection was very, very little. You know, it doesn't feel right to me. On camera, I think it looks really pretty. I just find it to be pretty texture enhancing in person, and I think that's due to the inconsistent sizes of pearls within this product. I see some chunkier pieces and some finer pieces, and because the bigger chunks look more sporadic, I feel like it looks more textured than my skin actually is in person. So now for blush, I picked two options. So the first one is the Simihaze Solar Tint Blush Duo in the shade Red Moon. I just never reached for this again, but it's kind of cool. Both sides are cream blushes, but you get a matte side and a dewy side. So here's the matte side and the dewy side. And the other formula might be a little bit of a surprise, but it's the Cosmetics Serum blushes. I couldn't tell you the last time I actually reached for one of these. I feel like I love them in my head, but in reality, do I? I just feel like I need to retry them. The packaging is adorable, the colors look beautiful, but I just remember sometimes they can be a little bit sheer and a little bit of a pain in the butt because they fade quite quickly throughout the day because they are such a serum-y, like glossy texture. I feel like I just need to refresh. I think I'm more interested in retrying this today, but let me know if you'd like to see another video like this, and this will probably make another appearance. I'm going to go for the shade Soft Amethyst, which is such a classic color. They did reformulate them last year, and they did repackage them too. They look very similar, but instead of like a little button up here, it's a squeezy. Already, this shade is far more pigmented than what I had in mind. And yes, I am choosing to go over my highlight because I really don't like how it looks. I'm hoping that this just rehydrates that area and just makes it go away. I'm happy I revisited this because I'm very happy with the result. I think that looks stunning, and I don't know what I was talking about. These colors are gorgeous. So I'm really happy I took the time to revisit this today. These are all of the colors. So Soft Amethyst, the one beside that is Forbidden Fruit. Then we have Venetian Rose. This light pink is Rose Milk, Little Lilac, Pink Nectar, and the last one is Sunset Sky. Little Lilac is so unique. So here's my base. I feel like this blush really helped to bring some life to my skin. It's looking much better. I'm just going to take a little bit more of my Saie powder to powder down some areas before doing my brows. So now I'm going to take a moment to do my brows and prime my lid, so please enjoy the brow intermission.
Hi. How are you? Hi, Steve. Hi, kitten. Hey.
So now moving on to eye makeup, I actually didn't have any palettes that I felt like I wanted to declutter, but I did find these in my bottom drawer, which I rarely ever use, so I'm going to give them another shot. This is the Ilia Liquid Powder Matte Eye Tints as well as the Chromatic Eye Tints. I'm going to be using the shades Baroque and Aura. I'm going to use Baroque kind of as an eyeliner and then this all over the lid. So starting off with the matte one in Baroque, I'm just gonna put some on my palette. I'm in the mood for a big old chunky liner. And I know these are meant to be kind of sheared out and such, but I'm really going to challenge this shade because I believe in it. And then I'm going to take some of this shade just in my palm, and I'm going to use my finger to kind of pat it about. Oh, I might add a little bit of this shade right here to contour my, my crease a little. And I'm just going to use that same contour-y color to put under my eye. I miss doing these very chunky liners like this. This used to be my go-to shape. I'm just going to repeat that on this eye and I'll be right back. I actually really like how my eyeshadow turned out today. I think the colors just look awesome. So now for my mascara, I'm going to be using my About Face 1994 mascara. I'm pretty picky when it comes to mascaras too, so I didn't have that many that I felt the need to declutter, but this was my least favorite out of them all, I guess. It might be a little bit heavy because I see it weighing down all the curl I've worked so hard to put through my lashes. Oh, it wasn't dry yet. Mozi. Okay. Oh dear. I just decided to put a lot of this highlighter in my inner corner. But here are the eyes all done now that the mascara is on. What do you guys think? And I really like the color of the chunky liner. I'm surprised at its opacity. I don't think I ever tried to use them as liners, but pleasantly surprised. I don't think I'm going to be letting go of those. We'll see if it creases, but if it looks like this in a few hours, I'm gonna be very, very happy. But now let's move on to lips. I don't have any lip liners that I am thinking of decluttering. I love them all. So I am going to be using my Clinique Quick Liner for Lips in the shade Honey Stick. And for my lip gloss, I'm going to be using my Fenty Beauty Heat gloss in the shade Fussy Heat. So I love the way that this looks, but I really cannot stand the way it smells. And I also find that it dehydrates my lips throughout the day, but it looks gorgeous. I just It smells like pure tobacco to me. But I mean, like, look at how that looks. It's gorgeous. The sheen is so pretty. It has that perfect kind of texture that fills in your lip lines. It's plumping, so it just makes your lips look so juicy. The color is perfection. It's just the smell, and since my lips live under my nose, it's really, really hard to ignore. That's my only issue with that. And here is the finished makeup look. For a full face of products I'm thinking of decluttering, it does not look that bad. It turned out a lot better than I expected. There's a few things that when I look at myself, I'm like, I don't like. One, the foundation, it's already starting to do that grainy thing all across my jaw here, where it's pretty much left alone. There's no bronzer, no powder or anything pretty much in this whole area here, and it's looking really grainy on my forehead too. I tried to take some close-up shots to show you. I feel like there's a few things that got redemption today, one being the blush for sure. I'm not going to be getting rid of these. I might get rid of a few colors that I don't really see myself using, but I am going to be keeping a couple for sure. Like the shade I used today is so stunning, and I see myself using that a lot more from here on out. But I guess we'll see how this face of makeup wears throughout the day, and I'll check in with you guys a bit later, and then I'll tell you what products I'm going to be getting rid of and which I'm going to be keeping. I cannot wait to remove this makeup. I can feel the foundation separating on my skin. It is so uncomfortable. My nose has been so incredibly itchy all afternoon. I can barely stand it anymore. It just feels very tickly all over. It's not like I have dust or cat hair on my face. It's just uncomfortable, and I can't wait to wash my face. I hope you can see here, just like in this entire area right here, it is so separated and grainy looking. And it's also gathering in some spots. It also smells a little weird, which I think is because of the sunscreen in the foundation. So I'm going to go through each product one by one and in order of application. So starting off with the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Blurring Balm Powder, I'm going to declutter this. It's okay. It does its job, but I feel like I prefer other primers. I feel like they're a lot more reliable, and I just prefer them over this one. This one does an all right job. So I'm going to let that go. I am for sure decluttering this foundation. I could almost say that I hate it now. I can't get along with it. It's just so uncomfortable feeling on my face. It's just not a good wearing foundation. I am going to keep the concealer because I feel like the concealer actually wore pretty well throughout the day. I don't have any creasing, so I'm going to keep it. I'm going to declutter my Saie Airset powder. I still think it's going to be overlooked in my collection. It doesn't do anything that drastic. Nothing very memorable about this, and I don't like how it's packed with shimmer. I'm going to declutter of these e.l.f. Putty bronzers. They didn't perform that bad today. I just feel like there are so many better bronzers that I have in my collection, and these ones are just very, very okay. I feel like it wore off kind of patchy-like. I feel like it just did not have the best wear time. That could be due to the foundation, but still, this is not my all-time favorite bronzer, and I don't really see myself reaching for them that often. I'm also going to be decluttering this highlighter. I just really did not like it at all. I just found it to be way too shimmery, too thick, too outdated of a formula. It's just not that great. I'm going to be keeping my Cosmetics blushes. I just loved that color today, and it's still there. Like, it had a really good wear time today, especially for how dewy it is. I feel like since they kind of reformulated them, the pigmentation is a lot more even and it lasts a lot longer as well. I'm really happy I retried these today. For the Ilia eye paints, I'm going to be keeping them all. They have not budged or moved. They wore really, really nicely throughout the day, and the colors are gorgeous. I'm not going to part with these. For the About Face mascara, I am going to be getting rid of this. Although it did not smudge or flake or anything, I found the formula to be a bit heavy, and I know I've had this for way too long in my collection. It's been way over for how long you're supposed to keep a mascara for. And finally, for the lip gloss, I'm going to be keeping it. I feel like I got over that tobacco-y smell, and the texture and the look of it is just so pretty, and I love how plumping it is. It's not like super burny, but it still adds a little bit of lift in your lips. I'm going to be keeping it. So out of the 10 products, I'm keeping 4 and getting rid of 6. I think today's video concept was so fun and different. Let me know if you'd like to see this again. I think it's such a great way to give the products a last chance to see if you're really ready to declutter them or not. I think this would be a fun one to see every couple of months. But that's going to be all from me. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and I will link everything in the description down below, so feel free to check that out, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys!